歡迎收聽第27集嘅 Apple Switch， 我係 Stephen。咁今集咧就請咗一位美國嘅朋友啦 ，Josh 啦，就係我識咗好耐之前做另外一個 podcast 嘅一個 co-host 啦。咁我哋就會傾下關於一啲我哋對於 iOS 13嘅一啲impression 啦，同埋講下一啲關於 iPhone 11嘅傳聞等等嘅。咁就主要係關於蘋果啦呢一集。咁其實我同佢呢個錄嘅呢一個訪問或者係呢個節目呢，就主要分兩 part 嘅。第一 part 呢就係講關於 Apple 嘅嘢啦，第二 part 呢就係講關於呢個 Switch 同埋 E3 嘅一啲 impression 嘅。咁大家如果對呢個Switch 或者係E3 嘅遊戲有特別興趣嘅話呢，就請留意下一集嘅 Apple Switch 啦。咁都係過幾日就會出噶啦。咁當然因為 Josh 係美國人啦，咁當然呢個內容呢就全部會以英文嘅形式去溝通同埋對答嘅。咁所以呢，希望大家留意翻。咁我哋首先嚟聽下有關於 Apple 同埋 iPhone 或者 iOS 13嘅呢一集先啦。So how's it going, Josh?
Pretty good, man. How you doing?
Doing good. So, just like what we just talked about, you are the first guest on the show, and we are conducting this podcast episode very specially. We are conducting in English, which is different from what I did in the past 25 episodes. So,
oh, right.
Would you mind telling us more about you, who you are, and what you're doing with the tech community related?
Yeah. Well, you and I know each other from my old podcast called Jailcast, which was a jailbreak podcast that I sort of inherited from a couple of other guys that started it. And I was kind of in the initial discussion of the creation of the project, but it kind of was started, and then eventually I kind of came back to it, and then I was the only one that kind of was able and or interested to do all of the work required to, produce a podcast, basically. And then also, again, like I guess the interest was the thing. Is like I was just super passionate and super focused in the jailbreak community for a while, and just jailbreaking iPhones, and at that time, I mean, iOS was so immature, and so like the jailbreak community was just so necessary, and so but yeah, and then long story short on that, the podcast kind of fizzled out with my own interest, and the community itself, like as you know, kind of dwindled with the increased security from Apple. Like every time Apple would like release some new like security tech, it would just get so much harder to actually release or to jailbreak. And so anyway, but yeah, so I used to run that podcast, and life has kind of taken a couple of left turns and personally, and so I've I went through a divorce. I kind of moved states. I live in Oregon now instead of California, and and so I kind of also gave up the whole jailbreak community. I'm kind of trying to figure out how to take all that creativity and interest in something that's technical and malleable, and trying so that's where my interest in web development started. And so now I have a new podcast about web development. It's called Static Bits, and so it's at staticbits.xyz. And I generally try to update it once a month, but I'm a little behind right now just because, again, life stuff is happening. I've had a lot of dental trouble. Actually, right now I got to get some teeth pulled pretty soon here. But it's really cool. I've been interviewing a lot of really awesome industry professionals from I interviewed Phil Hawksworth from Netlify. I interviewed the guys from Take Shape, which is this new web development tool, and I just recently interviewed Jason Langsdorff from Gatsby. And so
Gatsby.
So it's really exciting, and so that's the one I need to edit and I need to get out really soon. And so even just talking to you right now on your podcast is I think going to kind of help me get more motivated for that. So, but it's just there's only so much time in the day.
Yeah,
you know.
exactly.
And so, but anyway, but yeah, I'm excited to be chatting with you here about all this stuff in iOS 13. I just installed it yesterday, actually. So
You started from beta 2, right?
yeah, beta 2, and so I'm kind of funny because I'm recording this like through my computer, but our call is being hosted through my iPhone. So iOS 13 is actually hosting the call.
No, I'm not even using the macOS Catalina to record. I'm still using Mojave.
Yeah.
So, but we'll touch on the Mac thing later on.
Yeah.
But for iOS 13, I know quite a number of people are waiting for beta 2 because the beta 1 is you need to do the entire IPSW thing to
Right.
flash your iPhone or upgrade your iPhone through iTunes, etc. But beta 2 is what people are waiting for the profile, right? You can just get the profile from somewhere else without a developer account, whatever. That's what the community is doing, like in a shady way.
Yeah.
But officially you can, yeah. But officially you can download from developer portal, but which I have the developer account.
Nice.
So I can get from developer portal, but yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
But that's what people are waiting for.
Yeah, I got it from some sketchy place. But it's signed by Apple, so it's like it doesn't matter.
It's fine, but our podcast is on iTunes, so we better talk less on that.
Right. They're fine. They're fine.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'm really enjoying the just the overall feel of iOS 13. I mean, it's just mainly dark mode.
Yeah, mainly dark mode. Yeah, I think that's what people are looking for, and basically nothing else.
Yeah.
So you have been with iOS 13 for less than 12 hours, right?
Pretty much, yeah. It's probably about working on 12 or maybe 13 or 14 hours right now.
Yeah. So how do you feel about iOS 13 comparing? What's the previous version you're on? Like 12.4 beta?
Yeah. No, I actually wasn't on the beta. I was just on the most recent like public release.
Oh, okay.
Which whatever that was, 12 like 2 or something. I don't know. I forgot.
12.3.1, something like that.
Yeah, something like that, yeah. And so it was fine. It's just my phone's working, and I've been focusing on a lot of other stuff. But once the biggest thing was dark mode for me. I mean that came out, and actually shortcuts like there's a lot there's a huge amount of improvement to the shortcuts app with iOS 13 because it's fully integrated into the system now. Well, not fully, but it's it has a whole automation tab. There's ways to create like automations based on like your all your home stuff or like a bunch of device stuff like events, travel stuff, and settings. And I mean, it's amazing. I mean, the things that people are doing with it is just absolutely incredible. And then now that you can do those things based on like the time of day, or like if you arrive somewhere or leave, or like even if your Wi-Fi comes on or off. Again, I mean, this is like it's almost like Activator. I mean, this is almost
exactly.
Activator territory. It is Activator territory. I mean,
yeah, it used to be Workflow, right? The app called Workflow.
Exactly.
And then Apple acquired that company, the entire app, and basically duplicate the entire thing into iOS. So it is what it is.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's just so much more powerful because it's integrated and you can use it with Siri, and I mean I've built a bunch of shortcuts myself that are nothing compared to the ones that some people make, but like one of the ones I'm really proud of is I actually am able to like hit the Unsplash Wallpapers API, which is like a source of like this huge, like this library of wallpapers that's categorized all amazingly. So you can like, when you run my shortcut, it will let you search for like a specific term and it'll bring back a wallpaper for you, or it'll bring you a random image, or it will actually take your device dimensions and you can search and it'll put an image on your wallpaper that's just exactly your device dimensions. And then same thing with like a random version. And so basically, I mean, it's literally like Shortcuts is becoming a programming language. If not, it's there. I mean, you can almost make apps with it. I mean, there's the line is blurring. You know. Anyway, I can totally get caught up in talking about Shortcuts forever. So I almost wanted to start a podcast on Shortcuts, and I even got as far as to like kind of talk to a bunch of people about it. We were going to do it, and then I realized, you know, just running a podcast is such a huge thing. I already have one that I can't really manage properly, so why would I create another one?
Yeah, I think I only use a few shortcuts. As we just talked about shortcuts, we talk about shortcuts first.
Yeah.
So a few shortcuts I use, like I download from somewhere else. I didn't build it by myself. So like taking off, landing, because I always travel. So I need to have like a shortcut to turn off everything and turn on everything again, and also super low power mode. So when I took a long haul flight, so I can just put my cell phone into a very low power mode, so it's saved power. I don't have to charge it somewhere else. And also combining the images, for example, like for the show, right? I have some thumbnails and all stuff, so I need to combine some of the images, screenshots, and all stuff. So, and another thing is Foodpanda. I check my orders.
For what?
So, Foodpandas. Just for example, you order the food.
Oh.
And then you track where it is. So I just press the button and it launches and track the orders.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's what I use every day.
No, that's super amazing, and that's one of the greatest things about Shortcuts is there's like there's people who are like the kind of like Shortcuts developers, and then there's like people that just use them, you know, and there's all these different ranges of both of those. Like I don't really consider myself a Shortcuts developer or whatever, but I can make some pretty interesting ones, you know, and just by thinking of stuff and figuring out how to use it. But some of the things that other people have done are like, it's a full-on program.
Yeah, I'm just too lazy to write anything on that. I just download it and try to modify it.
Yeah, for sure. That's kind of mostly what I do. Like a lot of my shortcuts actually are like kind of an amalgamation of their shortcuts. Like I'll just connect other ones and or make my own thing to do something else that's additional what the other one's doing or something, you know.
You mentioned that the only thing you notice is basically the dark mode. So how do you feel about the dark mode for iOS 13 comparing to like those for example in the jailbreak community? You have Eclipse and I can't recall other jailbreak tricks. You know, so how do you compare this to that?
It's almost like that, but it's just like refined because it's so simple. Like, and so it's just a switch, so it just turns it on or off. But I was thinking about it today in that, like, you know, like for instance, like the wallpapers. Like you set one wallpaper, and then like when you switch dark mode on, like the wallpaper itself changes. You know, and then
that wallpaper is kind of modified, right? They have a specific
it's a different one,
format.
Yeah, and
it's
so
kind of cool.
Yeah, so it must be like two wallpapers in one or something. But anyway, and then more than that, you know, that concept is it's more elusive and it pervades to more than just photography. It's an API that developers should be able to hook into, and then be able to you know, actually, like when I turn dark mode on my phone, developers should be able to know that, and so like, for instance, serve up, like, you know, like the white splash screen, it'll like blind you when you have dark mode on, and so it'll actually be a dark mode splash screen, and then in the end, or the whole app itself would know that my phone is in dark mode, so the apps will all know that, and I think it's just a proper way to implement it. You know, it's a system-wide thing, and you know, and even I mean, I'm pretty sure they're going to release some sort of a web API too, where websites can hook into that to where if your device is in dark mode, it will present a dark theme to the browser, which is, for me, that's where it becomes really interesting, because then I can actually use that, because I'm, you know, studying web development and stuff, and so I'm just really excited about it. I mean, dark mode is, again, like the biggest and the best feature of iOS 13. I think.
And the good thing for developer is, for example, I'm not sure if you watched the Worldwide Developer Conference when they show the Swift UI. So it basically just one line of code, like dark mode or something. So the app will trigger the dark mode immediately. So it's like super effective programming language for Swift UI. So you don't have to go through the previous UI languages. So it's more natural right now.
Right.
So you just type whatever you think, then you will convert to whatever it is.
I'm just wondering how it will be for a website, like if it's a meta tag or something, you know, or it's like a special, like, so for instance, like Safari. I don't know. It'll be something. They'll figure it out. But yeah, oh man, it's gonna be so awesome.
But the wallpaper thing is interesting, right?
Yeah.
But I don't think Apple will open that up for anyone else.
You don't think so?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
At least for now, they won't open it up, because you can't generate like live photos. You can just make it with like a video or GIF or something like that. But for this dark mode wallpaper, it has its own. I don't know how to say, maybe some coding.
Yeah, it's almost 2 files in one. You know, that's kind of what I'm thinking. So.
But at least for now, I don't see in Worldwide Developer Conference that Apple is talking about wallpapers, how you can make the same wallpaper as Apple does. So yeah.
Right.
So speaking of this beta, right? It's beta 2 right now. So for the update, I'm not sure you download it fresh. So it's kind of like 2 gigabytes or 4 gigabytes at least.
Yeah.
So for the update is 600 megabytes for iOS and 430 megabytes for watchOS, which is quite significant actually.
Oh yeah.
But it's understandable, right? It's actually the first beta. You consider beta 0 for the first release.
Right.
So and the first one you haven't used it. So the first beta for iOS is super buggy.
Yeah.
It's extremely buggy, and that's what happened on Twitter the other day, because I was complaining about some bugs in iOS 13 for the app. So they say I'm too early to jump in, etc. So, but yeah, it is what it is. But some other apps may function pretty well. I mean, on iOS 13 even without any updates. But you come out as a new app and you have some problems, but the others don't. So that's a problem. So they fix it within like 24 hours and it works fine.
Yeah.
But anyway, it was super buggy, and I installed it on my daily driver, iPhone 10, and it's already very, very fast. I know, but I mean, still super sluggy, buggy, not very stable. I crash like at least one time a day. So it will spring by itself, so it doesn't matter, right? But the app is kind of sluggish, and if you look at the press conferences, they say the app is launching like 2 times faster, but I think it's like 2 times slower than iOS 12.4. But right now it's super fast. I mean, on beta 2 it's very normal. It's like very close to 12.4 beta.
Yeah, it's very nice.
Yeah, it's very nice. I have a few apps that were not running on beta 1 but running on beta 2.
Oh.
I didn't update the app, so I don't know what's wrong with that. So yeah, that's funny. I think Apple messed something up from the back end.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I've had a couple of UI glitches here and there, and I think there's a couple of animations that they're going to change and stuff, because I think the unlock animation is like a little weird because all the icons actually fly in over the dock, and the dock flies in before that.
Really?
So
I didn't notice that. Are you using iPhone 10 or which iPhone are you
iPhone
using?
10, yeah.
I
And so
didn't notice that.
yeah, the dock flies in first, and then after you unlock it, you swipe up, the dock's there, and then all the icons actually go over the dock, and I don't think that's intentional. I think they might change that. I don't know. Maybe not. I just don't like it. It's different than before. Because I think they'll have them fade in. Like, I don't think they're fading. Like, maybe the opacity will change once I think they're gonna refine the animation. Is kind of what I'm saying. But anyway, but that's how it is. They always make little tweaks and little changes to things with the early betas, including animations, and so. But some of the apps are really good. Like I see on the notes here, you have like the Photos app has been redesigned, reminders. It's really like. I really like the new Photos app. I mean, I think I like the secondary tab that's above, like the tab bar on the bottom.
Yeah, and it takes some time to get used to, right? It's very different from the previous versions of Photos on iOS.
Yeah.
And when I first used it, I don't know where to look for the photos, the recent photos.
I know, me either.
Yeah.
But this is all photos. It's just photos, all photos. And that's basically your camera roll now.
Yeah, the amazing thing is it will use machine learning to pick up the best photos for your memory, and you usually pick up photos of a particular person or particular locations that you should remember. For example, I took a lot of photos of my wife, and the entire photo album is my wife, not anyone else. I mean, not even any one of my friends. Of course, some of the photos with friends, a lot of friends, and they will show up as a cover for the album. That okay, you have so many friends gathering together, and this is your best memory of the month or something like that. But it's kind of amazing, right? You are getting back the memory right away from the album cover.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So that's the amazing thing. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that's,
and it's funny that when I pass on my iPhone to my wife the other day, because she was looking for her photos, nice photos, and she didn't know where to start with, because she can't get where she's getting her own photos on her own iPhone. So yeah, it's getting some time to get used to. So that's one thing. But yeah, photos is amazing. I really love the feature that is capturing the best memory, the most important people or subject.
right.
From your photo library. You may have a lot of duplicated photos. I mean, you take a few shots for one thing, and they just filter out the best one for you.
Right. Yeah, it's really cool.
And for the
Yeah,
reminders, I don't use reminders actually.
So
on iOS, I never use reminders.
Well, I didn't, because the app it still almost had like a skeuomorphism design almost. I never liked that design, but this new design is awesome. I'm going to start using it again. I already set up some new lists, and I really like the design. There's the 4 tabs at the top, today, scheduled, all, and flagged. And it looks really good. I mean, I really like the way it looks.
Yeah, because I use a lot of third-party reminders app.
Yeah.
I try a lot of different.
Me too.
Like Todoist, Wunderlist,
Things.
and things is pretty nice if you have the Mac app. And also I use Sorted, which is developed by a Hong Kong developer, which is very nice, and it integrates with your calendar, so it will remind you with the calendar as well. So basically, you don't need a calendar app,
Wow.
another calendar app, because it's integrating everything, the reminders, they have their own list of reminders on top of your reminders app list, and also integrated with your calendars. You can pick whatever calendar you want to sync with. So it's automatic. It's all automatic. So it's just one app to do two things. So I really love that. But I paid like $50 for the premium. So it's lifetime.
Oh wow.
But it's definitely worth it. You don't need any other things. It does everything for you.
That's crazy.
So that's what I use right now. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I had a couple. I had a couple of different ones that I tried last year. I can't even remember them all, but I really like the new reminders, and also I kind of just like using stock apps because they're from Apple, and it's just, especially now that the dark mode's integrated and stuff, and it's just like, for instance, Mail, the Mail app. I've used so many different Mail apps, and I always come back to Apple Mail, but my biggest complaint again was dark mode. I didn't have a dark mode. And now it's just like the Apple Mail app is just so amazing because it's all you need, and there's a dark mode now, and it just, it looks so good. So, but that's just gonna be me this whole episode, is just fawning over dark mode.
I can't recall what's the last time I launched the stock Mail app.
That's funny.
I use third-party email applications like I use Newton.
Huh.
It's also a subscription-based, but I think I did a review on my blog like a couple years ago, and they gave me the lifetime membership for that, lifetime subscription for that.
Oh wow!
So I can use it like for 30 years.
Huh.
So I believe they will shut down after 30 years, but last year they shut down for a while.
Huh.
And they said goodbye and everything, and eventually they came back again, say, hey, we are back, and probably because of like financial things or something like that.
Right.
But it comes back, and I start using it again because it has snoozing feature. They have read receipts kind of things. Those kind of things I need.
Huh.
So yeah. You can set you to remind you again on certain emails that I don't think the iOS stock mail app can do that.
No, I don't think it can.
Yeah, so that's why I need. Sometimes I need to remind myself about certain payments, certain emails to follow up. So I just set the reminders again.
Yeah.
So you prompt as a new email.
There's a bunch of email apps that can do that. The first one was Mailbox, I remember, and then Spark, or I think it's Spark, or
yeah, Spark also.
Yeah, and then a couple other ones.
Yeah, fun. Yeah, it's funny that I use Spark on Android but not on iOS.
Oh, funny.
Yeah. I think it's better on Android for some reason. I don't know why. But Newton is definitely better than Spark.
Yeah.
From my perspective, maybe I'm so used to Newton because they reached out to me the other day when I was still blogging, and I start using that. I'm just so used to what it offers to me.
Yeah. For sure.
Okay, so do you notice that the apps launch faster on iOS 13? Because that's one of the selling point on WWDC, that it's like 2 times faster for app launches.
I don't.
How do you compare
really,
with iOS 12?
I don't really notice that. Like, it's almost like it isn't faster at all. But I don't know. It doesn't feel snappier. The whole joke.
I did notice the animations is a little bit faster in terms of like, because when you tap on the app, it's like slowly like popping up on iOS 12 or iOS 11, but on iOS 13, at least for beta 2, is like popping up like faster without much of the animations.
Yeah.
But I do hope they can they better eliminate the entire animation like Android. It's just pop up like right away.
Right.
So it feels faster, but it's not actually faster. But yeah, it feels faster.
Right. Well, the feel is often really important. That's like what a lot of the thing I'm learning in web design, and it's the same thing with just UI design. Is the, you know, like if you can get the user interacting with something as soon as possible, you know, that's your prerogative. You know, it needs to be the second you touch that screen, you know, it needs to be responsive, and so. And we're getting pickier. We used to, you know, like the phones used to be slower, and we're getting pickier now because it's faster and faster and better, and our websites are faster, and our internet connections are faster, and so yeah, users are really hard to please.
Exactly. So yeah, did you notice any app crashes on iOS 13 that you can use on iOS 12?
You know, not so far. Pardon me, a little tired here. Not so far. Not really at all. I mean, I haven't really used a bunch of different apps, I guess, so far. Maybe about 10 different apps, maybe 20 apps since I opened it.
Like what I mentioned like before is I have a few daily apps that I use. It crashes on iOS 13 beta 1, but not on beta 2. So I feel very fortunate that it comes back. Otherwise, I would use another app to replace it.
Right.
Yeah. So, how do you feel about the widgets? Because I think they redesign a little bit on the widgets UI, etc. So, do you find anything weird across the widgets? Do you use widgets on the notification center?
Yeah, a little bit. You know, what sucks actually is like all the third-party developer apps widgets are all still white, so because they haven't hooked into dark mode yet, you know. And so it's like, oh man. So, but I guess I haven't checked out the stock widgets yet. Have they changed?
I'm not quite sure because the battery widget is acting weird on me because I have multiple devices, right? Like Apple Watch, AirPods, etc. So, but there was no option to expand the widget. So I can only see the Apple Watch and the iPhone, but I cannot see the AirPods. So I don't know the battery level of the AirPods until the AirPods warns me with the sound that is getting low battery.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks like they're kind of messed up on mine too. Like my reminders widget isn't showing anything, even though I have reminders in there.
Yeah, exactly.
The battery's showing, but it's like.
So that's something I found weird on the widgets, which I don't really like because yeah, there are a lot of things you can expand from the widgets that I found useful, but now you're just like not functioning.
Right.
And one feature I noticed yesterday when I remove an app, that if you have an app subscription, right, active subscription,
yeah, that was
not expired.
That's super cool.
Yeah, it would tell you, okay, do you really want to remove the app because you still have the active subscription?
Yeah.
Not expired yet. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's a really neat feature. It's stuff like that's really important for Apple. Like that's just, it makes it, you know. I mean that's I wouldn't say that's a privacy thing, but that's just like a generally like they're just being cool. Like thanks, you know.
Yeah, and it gives you a second chance to think about, okay, whether I'm still using the app because I paid the subscription, I paid for the app for using a year long, and suddenly I want to remove it because of some reasons. So it gives you a second chance to think about it.
Yeah.
I don't know why they are not thinking about this nice feature in previous versions of iOS.
I know, it seems like it would be pretty simple.
Yeah. And sometimes you have so many, especially when many apps they are going into the freemium or subscription model that you can easily forget about your subscription, and one day you find out, okay, I don't use this app for quite a while, so I just want to remove it, and suddenly it tells you, okay, you still have the subscription. Oh, really? Then
Yeah.
you may start working with the app again because you are still paying for that, or you have already paid for that.
Right. Yeah. And or you could go cancel it too if it's a recurring subscription. That's kind of one of my features that I was excited about, or parts of that feature I meant. But yeah.
But I usually pay for a year because, for example, you really trust the app, like the podcast app like Castro. I pay for a year, and I really love that. And it's not functioning on iOS 13, and I need to remove it because it's not functioning at all.
Oh, right.
For the playing, it's not playing on the downloaded episodes, so you can only stream the episode, which I don't like because sometimes you don't have any signals,
Yeah.
or at the corner of a street or something like that. So yeah, so I have to remove it, and my subscription will expire like 2 days later. So it reminded me when I was removing it.
Yeah. That's good. It already
Yeah.
saved you.
No, I removed that because it's just 2 days away, so just cancel it.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the new App Store. So have you been to the new App Store on iOS 13?
You know what? I haven't actually.
Really?
I haven't even opened it yet.
Really? Because they changed quite a bit of it.
Wow.
And especially for the update app. The update tab is gone.
Yeah, it's just
It's
in
under
your.
your.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Weird.
weird, right? And it takes. Because usually you go to the App Store app and look for the updates, and now it's nowhere.
But
And you have to tap on your.
but the little the badge is still there though.
Yeah, but it's much smaller. It's hidden behind the scene,
Yeah.
and you have to tap yeah.
And there's a new tab at the bottom. It's arcade.
Really, you have the arcade. Oh, I think you are in the U.S. region.
Yeah.
It's not there for me.
It says arcade games that redefine games coming soon. I'll send you a screenshot of it if you want.
Interesting. I don't have Apple TV app. I don't have news app because it's still region locked, right, to the US.
Right. So
There's
how
no
many
coming to
how many
Asia.
tabs do you have at the bottom?
I have 4,
Whoa.
including the search.
Whoa, mine
Like-
are today, games, apps, arcade, and search.
Okay, so just one more then.
Yeah.
Yeah, just the arcade.
That's so awesome.
I don't have the arcade. Are you going into these new services like Apple Music, Apple News, Arcade,
I have-
TV Plus?
I have Apple Music, but I don't think I'll do Apple Arcade. Not right now. You know, I already have a Switch. I already pay for Switches. You know, the yearly thing, which isn't bad.
Yeah, the Switch online service.
Yeah. So, and I just don't play enough iPhone games because they suck. Like most iPhone games suck. So
I used to play a lot on mobile phone when it grows. I mean, in a huge amount of mobile games
yeah,
in the past few years, and until I get the Switch, because I don't have any console at home. My only console is PlayStation 1, so
nice.
I don't play anymore.
You don't have a Switch?
No, I have the Switch, but before the Switch, I only have the PlayStation 1. So
Oh right, yeah.
So I used to play MMO on PC or just mobile games.
Right.
Yeah. So anything else you want to touch on iOS 13? You only have like half a day of impressions.
Yeah, well, I guess one of the biggest things too is the volume HUD has been cleaned up, and now it actually is awesome.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And now it looks like it's designed like the control center thing, and it just makes a lot of sense. And I mean, come on, Jesus Christ, Apple, it took you so long to do that.
It took them like 3-4 years to realize that they have to redesign the volume HUD.
Yeah.
and the funny thing is it's very big when you first tap on your volume button, and it gets smaller. Why don't you just make it like the small versions? We can see it. We have good eyesight. We don't need the accessibility feature.
Right.
I hope that they can turn on with the accessibility if you can't see clearly.
Yeah.
But it's not like it's big and then turn small afterwards. So it's weird.
It seems to, if you're constantly adjusting the volume, it stays small even if it disappears for a second. But it's like 3 or 4 seconds, and then if you do it again, it'll be full size, that's interesting. That's all I was going to say about the volume HUD. Other than that,
yeah, it's weird. So, anything else you want to touch on iOS 13?
I don't think so. It's we could probably really dig into it a lot. There's a bunch of other little things. I guess one of the other privacy features, I guess the last thing, is under in settings and phone. There's a automatic option an option to automatically silence unknown callers, so they won't even get through, which is really cool.
You don't use any third-party apps to block out those spam calls.
Yeah, but something always gets through, or it'll just label it as spam, but it still rings.
Oh. Okay.
So,
because there is an app in Hong Kong. It's only for Hong Kong numbers, and it just block out everything.
Yeah.
Not coming through anymore.
I wish I had that here.
Yeah.
But yeah,
it updates like two times a day.
Yeah.
For the database, so the community can submit the report, and if you get the first call, then you can submit, and everyone else in Hong Kong will not get the call anymore.
Supposedly, there's apps like that I have. I have like one that's called Haya, and there's another one called like Truecaller that I had for a while, but it doesn't really seem to work. I mean, I just still get so many robocalls a day. But anyway, yeah, I think that's probably about the last feature I think about right now. I mean, there's so many. So
let's move on to some other operating systems. Do you use Mac or Apple Watch? Which one do you want to touch on?
I don't. I haven't checked out Catalina, I don't have an Apple Watch.
Okay, let's talk about the Catalina. I have a few. I use it for like half a day, and the funny thing is I installed the WatchOS 6 first, and then I realized, I need iOS 13. And then, and then it says, they need Catalina, or you need to download the Xcode, like 13 or just the latest beta for Xcode if you have Mojave or below. Okay, I'll just go ahead with Catalina, and so I installed the WatchOS 6, and it's not pairing because it's iOS 12. So I have to wipe my watch again. I just put it there charging, and I move on to macOS, and I start updating Catalina. It takes like an hour-ish, like 40 minutes to 1 hour. And then it comes back, and I start looking for... I know iTunes is gone, and then I go to the finders, and because the device syncing is integrated into the finders. And I go to the finders and I plug my phone in, it's not working. It's not recognizing the device. And I start checking the cables, started checking on the USB ports and just checking everything except the macOS. And then okay, finally it launches and it recognizes my phone, and I do the because I download the IPSW from the developer portal, so just use the option click to install the IPSW.
Right.
And it took forever to verify the IPSW.
Huh.
It just stuck there for like 2 hours without doing anything.
Wow.
And then
So wait a second, back up. So iTunes is gone.
Yeah. iTunes is gone, and it breaks up into like music, podcasts, and I can't remember, news, something like that.
And like movies or something. Wow.
It breaks up into 3.
Wow.
And you want to, if you want to synchronize your phone or install the IPSW, you have to go to the finders.
Wow.
Just like for example, in the existing macOS, when you plug in a thumb drive, right? Just like a thumb drive.
Right.
Just where you look for the thumb drive.
Wow.
That's where you look for your iPhone.
Where do you watch movies?
iTunes.
So iTunes is not gone?
No, sorry. The music, I think.
Oh, the
or the Apple TV. I can't remember. Maybe the Apple TV.
I'm so confused.
It's very confusing. It's not not like iTunes. You have everything there. You just tap on the check the drag down menu, right?
Right.
And now it's breaking up into like multiple apps. TV, I think it's TV, music, and podcasts.
Okay,
right?
yeah.
TV, music, podcasts. So you go to movie and you go to Apple TV. I think it's purposely done because it's now going through subscriptions for Apple TV Plus.
And then in 10 years, you're going to be like, announcing, iTunes is coming back. One place to manage all your stuff because we changed it 10 years ago.
and the funny thing for the developer conference is that Craig Federighi did make a joke that, hey guys, do you think iTunes is doing more things than before? We are integrating calendars and maps and everything into iTunes, and everyone laughed on that. But eventually they say they're breaking up iTunes into 3. So that's
Weird.
what we expected. Yeah, that's what we expected before.
Right. I mean, it does make sense. It'd be funny if they just kind of waffled on it in a couple of years.
And going back to my story for installing the iOS 13 beta, so my phone gets stuck with like synchronizing on Catalina, so I have to unplug the phone. I tried a few times for flashing the IPSW, but it didn't work. So I went back and back up some of the files onto a SSD, and I go to Time Machine and going back to August 2018. Because that was the last backup on macOS for me, so I have to back up. I have to use Time Machine to go back to August last year, where I flashed my Mojave. And
damn, right.
Yeah. And I started over again with all the betas, etc. It's a pain. I still haven't installed. I still haven't installed the Catalina Beta 2. I hope it's better, but I'm not going to try it.
Yeah.
Until it's like Beta 3 or 4 when it goes to public, so yeah.
Right, yeah. Yeah, because the first couple of ones are just to like... They're really... I mean, they're pretty much all for developers, but especially the first couple ones. So,
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah. So WatchOS, you don't have Apple Watch, so yeah.
I wish.
Not touching.
But I just can't afford one. They're too expensive.
You can go to the carriers and get the cellular model for like $10 a month. Kind of things.
Really?
Yeah, I got mine for like I think it's slightly more than $10, like 15 a month. So
I didn't know.
the
I didn't know you can do that
include
too.
the cellular service and the watch. Like it's just like paying the watch for like 24 months installment.
I didn't know that. Wow. I wonder if Verizon has that.
I think so. I think they have. They should have. Because there's a service offered for the Apple Watch.
Right. Maybe I'll do that. You know what? It's weird. Is like I realized that like a bunch of apps are requesting my Bluetooth, like Amazon, and now I just opened the Verizon app, and it's like, why do you want my Bluetooth? You know?
Maybe it's going to connect with your speakers and kind of things. Speakers, Apple Watch. Oh, you don't have Apple Watch, so it's weird.
Well, I might.
I think it's
Maybe
for
I might buy one. I
speakers.
might buy one now. You know, you told me I can get one with freaking with
Yeah,
you know.
and there's no Apple Watch 5 rumors yet, so I think it's still okay to get the Apple Watch 4, but probably you can wait for a couple months for the deals. For example, the Black Friday and like Thanksgiving, they may have like cheaper ones.
Oh right, yeah. That's interesting. I might look into that. Yeah, $20 a month. That's
Yeah.
crazy, man.
It's not bad. It's not bad. You get your phone calls and messages on without using the phone.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
for example, if you go down, drive to the supermarket, and you don't want to carry the phone, and just go with your Apple Watch, and that's all.
That's crazy.
And you can pay with your Apple Watch with Apple Pay, and you can do everything on your watch.
Wow. Huh.
So I don't even carry my credit cards. I mean, if I go downstairs to get some groceries, I just go through like Apple Pay, everything.
Wow.
Get the AirPods for phone calls and Apple Watch, and that's all you need for like a quick shopping downstairs.
Wow. That's crazy.
It's crazy. It's crazy. You can never imagine, like 5 years ago, you have never imagined you can do that.
Yo, yeah, for sure. I mean, this is like, truly like the future. I mean, this is crazy.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I'm actually like literally going through the steps on the app to buy it right now. Thanks, man. You're making me spend more money.
That's tempting. Like $20. Hey, come on, $20 a month. It's not bad.
I know. This is ridiculous.
You get the device, you get the surface, you get everything.
Wow.
So speaking of the future, let's talk about iPhone 11.
Ooh. Yeah. I haven't really seen much from it. I've seen like the little 3-camera design thing. I haven't seen anything else though.
That's right. That's the only selling point for iPhone 11, the 3-camera setup. And the funny thing is, Google Pixel 4 is adapting the same thing. It's adopting the same design, the square camera setup at the corner. The Pixel 4, the upcoming Pixel 4. So it's
Wow.
So Apple is leading again on the corner square design on the cameras, 3 cameras. So is it a buying point for you? If it's like 3 cameras, are you going to upgrade your phone because of that?
Not really. I mean, maybe just the overall thing, especially the battery. Supposedly, if it's going to be larger. That's awesome.
Is your battery running low for your iPhone 10 right now? How's the battery health for that?
You know what? Let me see.
Mine is at 91% maximum capacity, so it's like about 10% down from new ones.
Mine's at 87.
Oh,
Which is not too bad.
I don't know when. Yeah, it's not too bad, but like 10% less on a smaller device is quite significant sometimes. It's like, for example, if you have like 5 hours of screen on time, then you get 10% less, so it's quite significant. It's like half an hour, right?
Right.
So it's so that's the reason that I always think about the iPhone XR, that it has a LED screen, it is bigger, and it has a huge battery comparing with the other iPhones.
Right.
And I am always tempted with the iPhone XR. I did want to upgrade to a XR because of the battery and because I'm always traveling for business, so I need a huge amount of battery life when I was traveling here and there, and most of the time you don't have a power plug. You can't carry your external battery everywhere.
That one doesn't have 3D touch though, right?
Yeah, but it's going to cancel on iPhone 11.
Yeah.
There's no 3D touch anymore because it's removing
Well, no, there
the
is.
entire. Yeah.
There is technically 3D touch, but it's just working differently right now. Like,
It's called haptic touch, right?
yeah.
So it's just a press and
It's
release.
weird.
Yeah, but it's gone. It's not there anymore for iPhone 11.
Yeah, I don't know how I
Because
feel
they
about
did.
that.
I don't use 3D touch a lot except on the lock screen.
Well,
I
the
use
keyboard.
not really for me. The most times that I use 3D touch is on the flashlight on the lock screen. That's all.
Right. Yeah. Well, you don't use the 3D touch keyboard thing where you can like press down and like select words and delete them, and you know.
I don't use that much.
It's basically like Swift or swipe selection from the jailbreak community.
Yeah, I'm not using that actually.
Huh.
I usually stick with one or two keyboards.
What do you think
because
about
we
the new slide keyboard?
I don't use that. I don't even use on Android. You know, on Android it's like it was there forever. It's like long ago on Google Keyboard, but I never use that. I'm so used to typing, but not swiping.
Yeah.
Even on one hand, I can still type very fast. I don't need the swiping. And you know, we are not typing English every time. We type Chinese, so
right.
so it's different. We get strokes and the characters, so it's different from typing a word
Right.
in English.
Right.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
That's so crazy. I can't even imagine like how that works on a on a digital keyboard. That's crazy.
Yeah, so that's why I don't use the swipe functions. It's not helping me anything.
Yeah. Huh.
And yeah, but yeah, you're not going for iPhone 11. You're not upgrading, or you just upgrade for the sake of upgrading.
I might upgrade to iPhone 11 because I have a 10, and so since that's generally the cycle, is like I'll probably be close to done paying off my phone, and so I'll just probably pay it off and then go ahead and then update, most likely.
And yeah, and the most disappointing rumor, I'm not quite sure, for iPhone 11 is because Apple is not getting the 5G on iPhone 11. Probably the next one will get the 5G network.
I think because
So
I think it's not really ready yet. I think 5G is kind of like still almost a gimmick.
Yeah, but some of the Android phones has already got it.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah, but it's not really working. It's like the speeds aren't really there, and the battery is not there, and but yeah.
Yeah, it's there. Is the I mean the carrier plans are there, and I don't know, but if you buy a device, it's not supporting the latest plans that the carriers can support. So it's kind of weird buying decision that you need to make.
Right.
That okay, yeah, it's there. Is you can get the service, but your device is not supported. So, so yeah, you're still getting a 4G and slower network with a very compatible device, but it's not supporting 5G. It's very fast phone. It's a very high technology phone, but it's not supporting 5G. It's weird.
Yeah, it
You're
is a
catching
little
it like, yeah, it's $1,000 phone and you are not getting 5G.
weird.
And it's like $600 Android phone is getting 5G. So
Yeah, I've heard a lot of sketchy stuff about 5G where it's like the devices aren't proper. I don't know enough about it to where it's you know, like if it's actually legit or not. Like it's
yeah,
so it's anyway. Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
So I'm not really too worried about it myself.
yeah.
And I'm definitely not going to switch to Android just for like some 5G thing. So
Yeah, I have an Android device with me all the time because it's like dual SIM. So when I travel, I bring along my Android phone, and it's because Android phones sometimes they have a better signal.
huh.
When I'm traveling in South Asia countries, so it gets better signals in those countries, but not iPhones. iPhones usually get like a lower signal, and when we do a phone call, it's not so stable, and I don't know why.
Huh.
But Android phone does better sometimes.
Interesting.
Yeah, especially in those countries I travel to, Android phones performs better in terms of receiving signals. 4G and like phone calls it does a better job. So I carry my Android phones.
That's interesting. Maybe
But-
it's just something about the in international networks and stuff. Huh.
Yeah, and if I were to upgrade my iPhone 10, I may get the 11R because the battery is already great on 10R, but 11R is getting like 6% larger battery. So that's a tempting point for me. Is I need a lot of battery, like a lot of juice on my phone, and because I can't always charge my phone.
Yeah.
So I may get the 11R because it's getting a dual camera setup, so I can still get the portrait mode and everything. But
Right.
I don't think I'm getting the wide angle lens anymore, because I think that's the third camera on 11S or 11S Max or something like that.
Yeah. You know what I think I may do is like I might get the 11S Max because I would have gotten the 10 Max, but when they came out with the iPhone 10, they only had the iPhone 10 available. So
Yeah,
so it's like I've never had a bigger phone like that, but I've enjoyed using them when I have. And so the fact that I love the 10 size, but I think I want to try one of those bigger phones.
yeah, and the only thing is when you use a bigger phone, you can't go back.
I know, right?
So you're stuck at the like 1,200 price point forever.
Man, that sucks. Yeah, you're right. That's so
Yeah,
funny.
just think about the price. So what do you think about pricing for iPhones in the recent years?
It's just stupidly ridiculous. It's gotten so bad. Like it used to be like $600, $700, and that was almost ridiculous. And it is ridiculous. But yeah, you know what? It is what it is. People will pay for it. It's a wonderful device, and you use it every day. I mean, whatever, it is what it is.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, so Yeah, so that's why I'm always thinking about switching to Android because I'm so used to Android. I get the latest um, Android on operating system on my 6T, and um, it's running fast and it's functioning well and it's getting a better signal when I travel. So it does everything better than my iPhone 10. In terms of how I use the phone and a lot of customization on Android and everything. Uh, yeah,
Yeah.
it has a native dark mode, and I don't have to like wait for the official release of like in fall. I can get the official dark mode on iOS, but Android is there forever. So yeah, it's tough. It's tough a decision to get a new iPhone for me right now. Unlike the previous years, you have like 6 Plus is like no brainer, right? You go for a bigger phone and go for a better phone with a dual camera setup on iPhone 7, etc. So it was an easy decision at the time, but right now it's like you're not thinking twice, like 3 times when you buy a new iPhone.
Hmm. Yeah. Oh
So-
man.
How about the foldable phone? So how do you think about the foldable?
I just don't know if it's. I think it's weird. I don't know if it's like we did that a long time ago with the flip phones, and it's gonna be really hard for me to imagine it done well. I mean, I can imagine Apple would probably be the one that would be able to do it well. I think.
But you are going to wait for like 2-3 years,
Oh yeah.
and then by the time Apple comes with the foldable phone, there could be something else coming up.
Yeah, I don't know if it'll ever be a thing. It might be a gimmick. It might be a couple of them that come out and they might sell a little bit, but it might be a problem that we think we have, but we really don't, or something. If you know what I mean.
Yeah, this is exactly what happened right now. I mean, Samsung and Huawei is pulling back the orders for the foldable phone because
Right.
it's just not ready.
It's not ready. It's not really as good as we think it could be. I don't know. It's almost like VR, virtual reality and augmented reality. I mean, we're almost there, or 3D, like 3D movies. You know, it's like it's good. It's good, but it's still kind of a gimmick. I think, at least in my opinion. Like I have a high standard for when I watch a movie. I don't want to go watch a 3D movie. I would rather a standard, really high definition movie at the theater. You know. Yeah, I don't like the 3D anyway because I think the tech isn't there yet, and so I think it's similar to this. It's cool, it's novel, but I don't know. I think in 5 years there's going to be a different tech that's probably going to replace that need.
Yeah.
So
And the funny thing is, in the past couple worldwide developer conference, Apple pay a lot of attention on AR.
right,
And basically, you are holding the phone and looking at the phone and trying to imagine there is something building up on the table, on an empty table.
Yeah.
And
yeah. And then so what if Apple releases if you go even further into the future, maybe a little bit or whatever, even in 5 years, this is possible. Apple glasses. Like the Google, what was that called? Google Glass. So
yeah,
know.
I think the AR thing is kind of gimmicky on iPhones because who will be holding the phone to play a AR game like for hours?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, for sure.
you're not doing that. But imagine if you have a pair of Apple glasses that you can basically look through your eyes, through the glasses on, for example, the maps, for example, navigations. You get augmented reality on showing the directions and all the stuff. So that could be a lot more useful for daily use.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That's what has been rumoring. For example, why Apple is getting the street views and those map enhancement is because of the Apple glasses. probably coming like later this year or early next year. That you can, it's like the first version of Apple Watch that you need to sync up with the phone, and you will put up the information on your glasses. That you can look through the glasses, and for example, you go to like indoor shopping mall and you want to
Right.
look for a shop, and then you call up Siri and ask Siri, okay, where's the shop, and you would give you a direction through the glasses, tell you turn right, turn left, and so I think that could be a lot more useful than like playing Minecraft on an empty table
Right.
with the AR.
Oh man, it'd be so crazy. I mean, you know, the world wasn't ready for Google Glass, but it's almost because Google just didn't care about privacy, and so it was just this whole thing. And I mean, even though I think that if Apple releases a watch, it'll face similar challenges. Somehow, Apple will figure out how to make it like less creepy.
Yeah, and the problem is what's your target group, and what's your objective for getting a pair of like VR glasses or AR glasses. That is it for surveillance, or is it for daily use? Is it for gaming? Like for VR, right? It's very clear that most of them are used for gaming, and some are for business purposes, like uh, showing the simulation to a client on a business solution, something like that. That's a very professional side of VR use, and for the casual use, it's only gaming, and that's the I mean the focus for the VR. But for AR, it's kind of vague right now. So how do you use AR? So when will you use the AR? So how useful it will bring to your life? So
Right. Yeah.
that's the point.
Yeah, for sure. I think again, oh man, it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be super useful. I mean, I can even think of driving applications and things like that because you're just wearing the device, so it's like your maps can be just like displayed on the road.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Yeah, so you don't have to look down for your phone, or you
Yeah.
put a like phone holder on top of your driving view, and yeah,
Oh man.
it's not blocking your view anymore. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's and a bunch of other things. I'm sure, like even for stuff that we haven't even thought of yet, because developers are just so clever. You know. I mean, it actually opens up a whole new world of apps. Really.
Yeah,
So.
exactly.
But yeah.
So let's stop here for a while. Let's talk same time tomorrow. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, we'll do it again tomorrow.
Okay. Cool.
All right. Cool, Stephen. All right, well, I'll talk to you. I'll talk to you then.
Okay. Talk to you
All right. Bye bye.
later. Bye.